We're still debating whether we should release a song as a full like album, like one single release and just drop it like that, or like this day and age. And that's maybe a conversation for another interview sometime. But like with being an independent artist these days, like should I drop like one song every month instead and just kind of like keep things fresh and exciting, like as a an artist,
Depends on
just to
the
keep.
approach, I think. Depends on if you want to be Taylor Swift and just drop 2 albums at the stroke of midnight or whatever. I think it really.
Yeah.
I think it could
Well,
work either way, though.
let's
Honestly,
get into it. I mean,
just for a couple of minutes, because I don't know. What do you think, Dan? I'll go after you.
I think that we are going back towards a singles generation,
Mhm.
and people will have their gripes about that, but it's not like it's new. It's not like it was always an album scene, in the 50s and 60s. It was a singles game.
Scene, 100%.
Albums weren't the main seller, it was all the singles. And we're kind of going back to that now with the advent of the streaming giants, or rather just the streaming giant,
Yeah.
Spotify, kind
Yeah.
of squashing everyone else. And
I'd also argue
all
TikTok.
hail the algorithm gods. Yes, and
TikTok.
Sure, TikTok.
TikTok has been like
All those TikTok teens.
exploding. No, seriously, the sales of singles have exploded because of TikTok. People like 18, 16, 15. There was 4 under 18 or under 20-year-olds on Forbes like most successful artists or people under 30 of 2020. There's 4 of them were TikTokers who blew up because of one song that people just started dancing to. Anyway, I digress.
But my last comment on that is singles, I think, are great right now for maintaining the relevance in the moment right now, because people have very short attention spans, and it's a way to compete with everything that's coming out, because there's so much coming out every day.
Coming out, yeah.
Every day. But that is probably great for getting into playlists and into people's heads. Every time it's released, they listen to it a few times.
And people saved playlists on Spotify, right?
Right, but how well does it, achieve a longer lasting fan base that's super dedicated? Because, at least me personally, I love to sink my teeth into a full length album. And that's, usually how I really sink my teeth into an artist and follow them and get more invested, is because I'm listening to that album a few times on repeat, and then I get my favorites, and then I, it's like, it's more in my memory of like,
Right.
ooh, I should go back to that.
To play devil's advocate real quick before Pino answers, I will say that I think if an artist already has like a few or like at least one big album and then plays the singles game, I think then that's very beneficial, because then you have people you can grab both ways, right?
Right.
By releasing the singles or by just, people listening to your full album. Where I think it starts to fail is, I'm going to give an example of a really good Polish artist I got into recently named Michał Szczygieł. He's the guy who collaborated on that bonus Underbelly Hours episode that we talked about. Malinowy Mus is a song, and he's really interesting, but man, I get so disappointed because he has like 5 or 6 singles right now. They showcase very diverse aspects of his music, and after the end of a single, you're just left wanting more. You're like, this sounds like an intro track to an album, or this sounds like it should be going into another like song that's leading about something. But now, because he's signed by like Def Jam or something, he just has like 6 singles out. They're completely different genres, which is very cool because he can work in those genres, but there's no cohesive Szczygieł sound, So let's toss a question to you.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it?
What are your thoughts on the album versus single?
To respond to that a little bit, I guess, even when playing, I think part of this, leaving an audience always wanting more is actually like kind of good, right? I mean, in my opinion, it's like, if you're like, oh man, like, I want, like, so now you're just like aching for him to put something else out. So it's kind of working, it sounds like to me.
That's true.
I think just from an aspect of recording musicians, especially independent, when you're putting all your own, you're investing everything you have into this, right? So you've got, let's say 9, 10, 12 songs that you've just spent months and months working on. and finally you're just like, okay, cool, like I'm gonna put it out, and then you spend some time like promoting it or whatever, and you put it out, and then it just kind of like within a week or two, I feel like it'll just like fade away into the rest of social media oblivion, because it's just like you guys said, there's so much new stuff coming out all the time. Now it's going to take me another like 2 or 3 years to put together another, like, at least, right? I mean, it's time consuming, it costs money. Like, as an independent recording artist, it's like, I think I might get more longevity out of just doing singles, in that regard. Like, rather than just like having it all just fade away. And like for those true like song or those true music lovers who will just connect to a full album, which I get, I guess the idea would be, okay, once I release all 10 songs, then it will be an album at that point. But it's gonna take 10 months to get there, right? But I can make that a compilation, because they've been recorded as an album essentially. And so I don't know. I mean, we're still talking about it as a band and just trying to figure out what the best thing is for us. It's not the best thing for every band out there.
Yeah.
I think everybody's got their own story. Everybody's got their own fan base. Everybody's got their own views on it. But for me, it's the Pino Farina band. So like I take to heart all three of their opinions on how we should go about this. Like, it's not just me, and so it's a group decision, I think. And we'll figure it out when we get there. But right now, we just want to have all the songs finished, completed, mastered, mixed, mastered, everything, and then we'll figure it out. But it's definitely open discussion at the moment. So, but I agree with both you guys on both points. As a full album, I mean, like, a Neil Young album, you put that on and you just listen to the whole thing. It's like, but nowadays I feel like people, the attention span of people is like, you have to keep getting their attention all the time. I feel like, and not only them, but me. Like, I'm scrolling through myself, and it's like, it's just trying to keep people's attention for as long as you can. And sometimes a 4-minute song versus like a 50-minute album might be the way to go in this day and age, so